What if an entire generation is living its life in reaction to its childhood? Not consciously, not deliberately, but quietly. Millennials are one of the most educated generations in history. Yet many feel more uncertain about the future than their parents did. They have more freedom than any generation before them. Yet, many report feeling trapped. They are rejecting traditional life paths, yet spending billions trying to discover themselves. They talk openly about mental health, and yet, anxiety continues to rise. They say live for today, while simultaneously obsess over financial security. And the contradictions don't stop there. Some millennials choose not to have children because they value freedom, while others fear repeating the mistakes of their parents. Some millennials save every penny, while others spend everything on experiences. Some desperately seek stability, while others run away from it. At first, it looks like chaos. It doesn't make sense. While some call it progressiveness, others call it selfishness. But what if there's actually a pattern hiding underneath? A pattern that may explain marriage choices, child-free lifestyles, the obsession with experiences, financial anxiety, peer pressure, and even why so many millennials feel stuck between freedom and security. Because the deeper you look at millennials, the more an intriguing possibility begins to emerge. Are millennials creating the lives they truly want? Or are they overcompensating for the traumas they experienced while they were growing up? And if they are, how would we even know? Human beings rarely move in straight lines. We move like pendulums. When we experience one extreme, we often swing toward the opposite. Children raised by strict parents often become permissive adults, while children who grew up with emotional neglect may become highly emotionally aware. And those who grew up with financial insecurity may become obsessed with financial security. Psychologists call this reaction formation, the tendency to respond to painful experiences by adopting the opposite behavior. And when you look at millennials, you begin to notice something interesting. Many of their defining characteristics appear to be direct reversals of the generation that raised them. But is that healthy correction? Or overcorrection? For generations, marriage wasn't really optional. It was expected, a milestone, a marker of adulthood. But millennials changed that. Many millennials may have discovered something previous generations never had: choice. And for the first time in history, millions of people can genuinely ask, do I actually want this? And that changed everything. Many delayed marriage. Others rejected it entirely. And those who do marry treat it like a high-stakes investment, not a milestone. At first glance, the explanation seems obvious: greater freedom, greater independence, especially for women. But there may be another layer: fear. Many millennials grew up during an era of rising divorce rates. They witnessed unhappy marriages, silent resentment, parents who stayed together but emotionally drifted apart, and children notice more than adults realize. So when commitment becomes associated with pain, avoiding commitment can feel like wisdom. The difficult question is this: are some millennials rejecting marriage because they've found a better alternative? Or because they've become experts at avoiding vulnerability? The two, freedom and fear, can look identical at a glance. The same mystery appears when we look at parenthood. More millennials are choosing to postpone having children or not to have children at all. The choice is not just, I'll wait, but I'm not sure I want this at all. And many describe their decision using the same language: freedom, flexibility, peace. But many millennials also grew up watching exhausted parents. Parents juggling multiple jobs. Parents sacrificing dreams. Parents stretched to their limits. Many became determined not to repeat that story. For some, being child-free is a conscious and deeply fulfilling choice. For others, it may be an attempt to avoid the sacrifices they witnessed growing up, and suddenly the decision means something entirely different. Again, same outcome, different motivation. Millennials inherited a world that felt increasingly uncertain. They entered adulthood during financial crises. Housing became less affordable. Traditional career paths became less predictable. The future stopped feeling guaranteed. And when the future feels uncertain, the present becomes more valuable. This may help explain the rise of the YOLO mindset. You only live once. Take the trip. Go to the concert. Experience the adventure. Make memories. Quit the job. Start over. Previous generations often delayed happiness for the future. Millennials stopped trusting that happiness could be safely postponed. Because life can collapse overnight, they increasingly ask, what if the future never comes? For millennials, YOLO is urgency. And once again, there is a tension. Living for today can be liberation, or it can become a way of escaping an unpredictable tomorrow. When people think of peer pressure, they imagine teenagers. But adulthood may contain an even more powerful version. Social pressure simply changed forms. Previous generations felt pressure to get married and start a family. Today, millennials often feel pressure to be extraordinary, to travel more, experience more, heal more, optimize more, earn more, grow more, and post about all of it. Social media transformed life into a public performance. People compare not only possessions, but lifestyles, not only achievements, but happiness itself. Ironically, a generation that prides itself on individuality may be experiencing a new form of conformity, just dressed differently. And this may explain why millennials are the most connected generation in history and yet the loneliest. One of the least discussed millennial behaviors may also be one of the most revealing: oversaving. The same generation embracing YOLO is also one of the most financially anxious generations in modern history. How can both be true? Many millennials watched parents struggle financially. They witnessed layoffs, debt, foreclosures, economic uncertainty. As a result, some became hyper-vigilant, saving relentlessly, preparing constantly, building emergency funds on top of emergency funds. Research on financial psychology shows that fear doesn't disappear when money arrives. Often, it simply moves the goalpost. The person who once wanted 10,000 pounds saved now wants 50, then 100, then more. Security becomes a destination that never arrives. The behavior appears responsible, but underneath it may be anxiety wearing the mask of prudence. The more you examine millennials, the more you notice a fascinating pattern. Many appear to be doing the opposite of what their parents did. Parents suppressed emotions. Millennials discuss emotions openly. Parents valued stability. Millennials value fulfillment. Parents stayed in jobs they disliked. Millennials leave jobs that drain them. Parents delayed gratification. Millennials prioritize experiences. Parents sacrificed individuality for duty. Millennials prioritize authenticity. And none of these shifts are inherently good or bad. The real question is, why did they happen? Because every generation believes it's correcting the mistakes of the one before it. Yet history suggests something interesting. When one generation overcorrects, the next generation often reacts to them, and the pendulum swings again. Perhaps millennials are overcompensating, or they're healing, or maybe they're doing both at the same time. Perhaps they are simply adapting, or maybe they're doing what every generation has always done, trying to solve the problems they inherited. The challenge is that solutions and reactions often look the same. A person can avoid marriage because they value freedom, or because they're afraid of intimacy. Another can save because they're financially wise, or because they're terrified of insecurity. While another can choose to remain child-free because it's what they truly want, or because they're running from a future they fear. The behavior is visible, but the motivation is hidden. Because overcompensation and self-discovery often wear the same disguise. And that's what makes this mystery so fascinating. An individual running toward freedom and another running away from fear can end up standing in exactly the same place. The same apartment, the same relationship status, the same career, the same income, or the same life. From the outside, they look identical. But psychologically, they couldn't be more different. Because a life built from freedom and a life built from fear can look remarkably similar. At least, for a while. Until one day, one is forced to ask a question that no statistic, trend, or psychologist can answer for them. Am I moving toward the life I truly want? Or have I spent years carefully building a life around what I never wanted to feel again? And if you can't immediately answer that question, perhaps that's the most revealing answer of all. Ultimately, the real mystery is this. Will the next generation overcorrect? And if they do, to what extent? What do you think? Subscribe for more videos exploring money, behavior, technology, and society.